Snow drifted lazily outside my apartment window as I folded the last Christmas sweater and placed it back into the drawer. There was no reason to pack anymore. 3 days earlier, my daughter Emily had called. "Mom, I think it's better if you don't come this year." She tried to sound gentle, but the words still landed like shattered glass. "What happened?" I'd asked. "It's just, everyone will be here. Dad's hosting. Mark's parents are flying in, the kids will be excited, and I don't want any tension." "Tension?" I whispered. She sighed. "You and Dad never seem comfortable around each other." Comfortable. That was an interesting way to describe 20 years of silence after a marriage broken by military deployments, impossible choices, and pride neither of us knew how to surrender. "I understand," I'd lied. She thanked me. Actually thanked me. As though staying away from Christmas with my own grandchildren was a favor. Now Christmas Eve had arrived. The tiny artificial tree in my apartment blinked with lonely white lights while a frozen dinner slowly rotated inside the microwave. My phone remained silent. No messages. No invitations. Just another reminder that sometimes mothers become guests in their children's lives. The microwave beeped. Before I could open it, my cell phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. "Hello. Mrs. Laura Bennett. Speaking. This is Colonel Harrison from the Pentagon." For a heartbeat, I wondered if someone was playing a cruel joke. "I'm sorry. We've been trying to reach your former husband, Colonel Richard Bennett. We were informed he may be with your daughter for Christmas preparations." My stomach tightened. "Is Richard all right?" There was a pause. "We're requesting he contact us immediately. It's regarding Captain Daniel Foster." Daniel. Emily's husband. My son-in-law. Every Christmas since joining the Air Force, he'd volunteered for overseas duty so younger parents could stay home with their children. Emily hated it. Daniel always promised it would be his last deployment. Apparently, it hadn't been. "What happened?" I asked. "I'm afraid I can't discuss operational details over the phone." "But is he alive?" Another pause. "I need Colonel Bennett to call us immediately." The line disconnected. I stared at my phone. Every terrible possibility rushed into my mind. No, Emily couldn't receive that call alone. She might have asked me not to come, but she was still my daughter. Within minutes I had my coat on. The roads were covered in fresh snow as I drove 40 minutes to Richard's house. Christmas lights glowed across the neighborhood. Inside, laughter spilled through the windows. For one painful second, I considered turning around. Then I remembered the colonel's voice. I knocked. The front door opened. Emily froze. "Mom." Behind her, my 2 grandchildren raced around the living room wearing matching reindeer pajamas. Richard looked up from the fireplace. His expression shifted from surprise to confusion. "What are you doing here?" "I received a call from the Pentagon." The room went silent. Emily's face drained of color. "What?" "They're trying to reach your father. It's about Daniel." Richard stood instantly. "What did they say?" "They wouldn't tell me." His military instincts returned in seconds. He grabbed his phone and stepped into the study. Emily grabbed my arm so tightly it hurt. No. Please tell me this isn't happening." For the first time in years, she leaned into me like she had when she was little. I wrapped my arms around her without thinking. She trembled. "I'm scared." "I know. I told you not to come." "I know. I'm sorry." I kissed the top of her head. "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Minutes felt like hours. The grandchildren sensed something was wrong and quietly disappeared upstairs with Mark's parents. Finally, Richard returned. His eyes were wet. I had seen that look only once before. The day military officers had visited another family on our base decades ago. Emily couldn't speak. Richard swallowed hard. "They found Daniel." Her knees buckled. I caught her before she hit the floor. "Is he alive?" She gasped. "He was injured during an evacuation mission. Communications were lost after severe weather damaged equipment." Emily burst into tears. "So why?" "They couldn't notify the family until they confirmed his identity and medical evacuation." Richard's voice cracked. "He's stable. He'll be transferred to Germany tonight." The room erupted with sobs of relief. Emily clung to both of us. For several minutes, none of us moved. Finally, she looked at me through tear-filled eyes. "I almost spent tonight without you." I smiled through my own tears. "But you didn't." She shook her head. "I thought keeping everyone apart would make Christmas easier." "It rarely works that way." Richard quietly walked over. 20 years of distance stood between us. "So," he said softly, "looks like the Pentagon accidentally saved Christmas." I laughed despite everything. So it seems. He hesitated. You should stay. Emily squeezed my hand. Please. The grandchildren came running downstairs, unaware of how close the evening had come to becoming something entirely different. Grandma. They wrapped themselves around my legs. Emily looked at me. I don't ever want to tell you not to come again. Outside, snow continued to fall, covering the streets in perfect white. Inside, old wounds remained, but something new had begun. Sometimes families aren't reunited because the past disappears. Sometimes they're reunited because life reminds them that love is too precious to postpone. And that Christmas isn't about having a perfect family gathered around the table. It's about making sure no one who belongs there is left standing outside the door.